Okay, exercise 1006 or 1406, depending on which book you're using, is called the Empirical Rule. I mentioned this in my first introductory video, and it is on your reference sheet on page 2. And what it is that scores that lie between one standard deviation from the mean. So here's the mean, here's one standard deviation, or a z-score of 1. All the scores that lie in there, that's 68% of scores. Okay, now it is useful to halve that. Okay, so there's 34% on that side and there's 34% on that side because it is a symmetrical distribution. Okay, so 2 standard deviations from the mean. Here's my mean, 1, 2, 1, 2. That region there is 95%. Okay, again, it is useful to halve it and look at what's on each side of it. So half of 95% is 47.5% there and 47.5% there. Okay, and 3 standard deviations, so between here and here, almost the whole curve, except remember there are bits out the end. Okay, that whole region there is 99.7%. Again, it's useful to halve that. I might just cheat a little bit and use my calculator. So that's 49.7% on, 49.85% on that side, 85, and 49.85% on that side. Okay, the fact that it's a symmetrical distribution is very important here. Okay, let's look at some examples. So for a normal distribution with a mean of 60 and a standard deviation of 12, so this is our distribution here, that's how it's distributed. Find the percentage of scores that lie between 48 and 72. Okay, so one of the things I would probably do for this type of question is actually just quickly sketch up one of these. So we have a mean of 60, so we're not using the standard normal distribution anymore with the standardized one with z-scores. So if we go up and down in lots of 12, so if I go up 12, I get to 72, and that's the one we want, so we'll stop right there. If I go down by 12, I get 48, and that's the one I want. Okay, so we're asking for this region here, and we already know from the empirical rule that that is 68%. Okay, let's look at this one, between 60 and 84. So 60 is in the middle, okay? 70, so that's our bottom end. 72 is there, and 84 is the next one. Okay, so we want this region here. Now, your calculator can actually find that percentage as well. That's one I didn't show you before. So shift 1, 5, and it's the Q. So 2, and that's 2, a z-score of 2. Okay, so 2 standard deviations away, and there's my percentage here. And if you have a look up here, that matches up. 2 standard deviations, 47.5%. Now, these are just approximates. This one in the calculator is accurate, but we're happy here with an approximate. This type of question, you should recognize this type of question, that you're going to use these approximates. 47.5% is your answer. Okay, it is just an approximate. And the last one from 48 to 96. So we had 60 there, 48 was 1 down, so that's our bottom end. 60 to 96, so there's 72, that one's 84, that one is 96, so that one's 3 standard deviations away. So what we want to do is find this piece and that piece and put them together. Now in your calculator, one thing you might want to keep in mind is this region here would be the same as that region there. So in your calculator you could go Q 1 standard deviation. It gives you the size of that. Okay, so these are absolute values here. Plus, so that first one, that Q1 would give you this area, plus this one, which is Q3 in your calculator. Okay, you could do it that way. We're not going to do it that way. We're going to do it using the empirical rule. And what we saw up here is one standard deviation is 34%. Okay, so it's half of 68%, which is that 34%, plus half of our 99.7%. Okay, so that's what we want there. So that is our 34% plus our 49.85%. So that gives us 83.85%.